Rats racing against time for students in pathology. A couple of topics for the day appear a little too simple. In fact, they are deceptively simple. Chemotaxis and phagocytosis. Let us see in what way we are underestimating the particular topics. The importance of it is given in the enclosure. First, chemotaxis. Chemotaxis is defined as the unidirectional movement of a cell towards an attractant. Beautiful definition. Chemotaxis is defined as a unidirectional movement of a cell towards an attractant. So here there is an attractant. It can be a bacillus, it can be a foreign body or anything. And the cell is moving towards it. Whereas Brownian movement is a random, purposeless movement. And that is what is happening over here. There are contractions and extensions in all directions. Chemokinesis, which is random, and that is called a Brownian movement. What are the chemoattractants? Normally, they are the bacteria or any particular substance that is called the chemokines or the cytokines. Also, there are some metabolites such as the arachidonic acid metabolites, leukotriene B4, which help in chemotaxis. So these are the various things. It can be the bacteria, it can be the dead host cell, or it can be a foreign body. Okay. So this is a beautiful diagram, the Boyden's millipore filter technique. It was authored by the person called Stephen Boyden. In this, there are two compartments, the upper and the lower. The upper compartment has got a high concentration of cells, whereas the lower one has got some attractants, the chemoattractants. And the cell, as we had mentioned earlier, is able to move around by means of filaments called as actin and myosin. Whereas opsonin is one substance that will coat the foreign body or the bacteria, as a result of which there will be a chemotaxis. After some time, it was found that most of the cells were in the lower compartment thanks to chemo attraction. This is a beautiful schematic diagram. We had touched upon it in our last class itself. Let us see what happens. Normally, as I had mentioned earlier, there is an axial flow of the cellular elements of blood. Cellular elements means it can be RBCs, WBCs, and even the platelets. But what happens is whenever there is a stasis, inflammation, edema, you find that there is a slowing down of the circulation in that particular direction or particular site. In which case, what happens is the cells become slowed down and they become more or less in contact with the endothelium. And they tend to roll over, which is called as rolling. And after some time, they get flattened and almost cause a platform for it, which is called as pavementing. Still later, you find that there will be some adhesion molecules which cause strong adhesion between the endothelium and the inflammatory cells. Finally, you find that there is an increase in the interendothelial gap, as a result of which the cell is able to move out, which is called as diapedesis. This is an active process as far as the WBC is concerned, whereas the RBCs will passively be moving out. Also, you find that these cells release some substances called as chemo. Given in the enclosure are the various adhesion molecules. They are the L-selectins, P-selectins, and E-selectins. Also, you find that there can be the platelet endothelial cell adhesion molecule or the vascular cell endothelial adhesion molecule. Also, there can be intercellular adhesion molecules. These are substances which help in the addition between the endothelium and the neutrophils or the monocytes. As a result of which you find that they are adherent and later on there is a diapedesis followed by chemotaxis. And here there is a group of bacteria which are trying to be engulfed by this cell. We shall be seeing that later on. And the chemokines and cytokines are substances which are being elaborated which further help in chemotaxis and phagocytosis. So this particular sequence of events we shall remember. There is a slowing of circulation, loss of the axial flow, rolling, chemokines, pavimenting of the cells, integrins, addition molecule, and emigration. All these together will be forming the chemotaxis. This is a more simplified diagram which I would like you people to kindly draw. The intercellular addition molecule, the p-selectins, etc. and the platelet endothelial cell addition molecule. And the sequence of events are again given here. This is a very simple line diagram which you people can draw. ICAM is the intercellular addition molecule. So again, it is a line diagram which can very well be drawn by you people showing the filter and the movement of the cells. See in the second picture, most of the leukocytes have crossed the filter membrane and they have come to the second chamber. And this is a beautiful schematic diagram which shows a phagocytosis of a bacteria or a group of bacteria, and then they are being engulfed, forming a phagosome, etc. And finally, you find that it is getting digested and the contents are being excreted. A superb picture for us to appreciate. Phagocytosis is the next topic in which we will be having the following subheadings covered. I would like you to kindly have each one of these subheadings in your answers. The introduction is definition. It is first derived from the Greek word phagein, meaning to eat, and kaitos meaning cell. So phagokaitos or phagocytos means eating of the cell. The term was first noted by Sir William Osler, a very great physician, and later on it was studied in detail by Mechnikov, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize. Definition: it is the process of devouring an infective organism, foreign body, or a dead cell and digesting it. Phagocytosis. It literally means cell eating, whereas pinocytosis means cell drinking. This Mechnikov was awarded the Nobel Prize for a simple discovery on phagocytosis. So you find that there are some receptors to which there is some opsonin that is getting attached, as a result of which the bacterium is subsequently getting phagocytosed. We shall see the process later on. So very simple steps sequentially explained by means of the line diagram. These are the receptors, the attachment of the bacterium, for which there is a phagosome that is initially formed. So there is a vacuolation. You find that the edges of these will be fusing to form a phagosome. And the phagosome again fuses with the lysosome to form what is called as a phagolysosome. There is the emptying of the lysosomal contents into it. Powerful enzymes which lead to digestion, leaving behind a residual body, and the debris are excreted. Usually there are two receptors which we should remember, the Fc receptor and the C3b receptor. And the two cells that are involved in phagocytosis are the neutrophils and the macrophages. Phagosome, lysosome, phagolysosome. This is a simple line diagram which I would like the students to draw as well as explain in detail. This is a phagocytic cell, whatever be it. It can be a macrophage or a neutrophil. It is only a schematic picture. And these are bacteria which are about to be engulfed. See what is happening. When the bacterium gets attached to the receptors, there can be pseudopods, which are extensions of the cytoplasm, that are being formed, or there can be a dipping of the cytoplasmic membrane. So what happens is there is a dipping of this membrane. In either case, you find that the pseudopods can get fused, or the edges of the depression can also get fused, forming what is called as a phagosome. Now it is a vesicle in which the bacterium is caught. As it goes inside, you find that there are powerful enzymes which are waiting for it to get digested. And this get fused with the phagosome, producing what is called as a phagolysosome. And the lysosomal enzymes are poured into the vesicle. There is a combination. Obviously, there is a digestion due to the powerful lysosomal enzymes leaving behind a residual body. And whatever is ultimately digested is excreted. Sometimes you find that the aging bodies within the cell also can get digested, and they are called as residual bodies. So this you people should be able to explain. There are two terms actually which are related. One is called phagocytosis, other is pinocytosis. Phagocytosis literally means cell eating. As we had explained, the phagocytic processes, and they fuse together to form the phagosome. Or sometimes there can be cup-like depressions and the material can go inside. Pinocytosis literally is used for more fluids or smaller molecular substances. So you should remember the receptors, mannose, scavengers, and opsonins. These are the terms which can be used. Opsonins are substances which will coat the foreign body or the bacterium, facilitating for them to be. This slide is the most important part of the answer, and it will be covering the free radicals and the antioxidants. The free radicals will be some substances which are having unpaired electron in the outermost orbit, as a result of which they will be having tremendous amount of energy capable of causing any destruction or digestion. So these will be the superoxide, hydrogen peroxide, hydroxyl radicals, or chloride ions or halide ions. These are one. At the same time, they cannot be endlessly causing damage. So there are some enzymes in our body which will inactivate them, and they are called as the superoxide dismutase, catalase, or glutathione peroxidase. So these names we should remember. And there are two methods of digestion. One is oxygen dependent, another is oxygen independent. Oxygen independent will be reactive oxygen species, and another one will be because of nitrous oxide. Let us see what is going to happen. So this is a simple schematic picture showing the plethora of actions that are taking place within the cell. We must explain this particular one. As I told you, a lot of energy is required, so NADPH is converted to NADP by means of NADPH oxidase. So during this process, the oxygen is converted to oxygen ion or superoxide, and the process continues. There is something called as dismutation, and the superoxide anion gets converted to hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide itself is later on inactivated to water by means of the enzyme called as myeloperoxidase. So myeloperoxidase is another enzyme that will be causing the inactivation. At the same time, you find that hydrogen peroxide can be converted to hydroxyl ions by means of the ferrous substance within the neutrophils. So these hydroxyl ions, hydrogen peroxide, and the superoxide will be causing tremendous amount of damage and digestion of the substance. There is also another reaction called as a halide reaction. Halide means it can be chloride, fluoride, etc. And these are getting converted to hypochlorite. So this again is precipitated by means of the enzyme called as myeloperoxidase. So you find that there is a halide system, there is a myeloperoxidase, there is hydrogen peroxide. So this is called as a hydrogen peroxide, myeloperoxide, and the halide system, which is the most potent bactericidal system in the neutrophils. You must write this particular flow diagram, it will fetch you marks. As I told you, these are all oxygen dependent. Another one that is oxygen independent is due to nitrous oxide. There is something called as a frustrated phagocyte. So you find in this particular case, these are all cells and this is a very long body called as asbestos body or a ferruginous body. And the cell is trying to phagocytose, which is literally frustrating. And this is depicted in the cartoon over here. Expectation is the mother of all frustration. And this is called as a frustrated phagocyte syndrome. So this is another process, again the same diagram. I would like you people to explain all the processes, all the steps. Is it clear? And there is something else, that is the defects. What are all the defects in phagocytosis? So this is the one which you people will have to write. It has been compiled. It is given in different pages. There can be a decrease in the circulating leukocytes. It can be because of bone marrow suppression, chemotherapy, or radiotherapy. Whenever this is given, you find cells are reduced. Decrease in the circulating leukocytes in typhoid. My professor used to call it as negative chemotaxis. In typhoid, usually there will be a decrease in the number of WBCs. Defect in adherence. That can happen in diabetes or in alcohol. Defects in migration. One important syndrome is the Shediac-Higashi syndrome. Or because of the defects in the complements. Diabetes. These all will be causing a defect in migration. Defect in phagocytosis itself can be because of actin or myosin dysfunction. And defective microbicidal activity, chronic granulomatous disease of childhood. These two are important, Shediac-Higashi syndrome and chronic granulomatous disease of childhood. If you answer this, you get a mark for it. Severe G6PD, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, and it is due to defective hydrogen peroxide. Steroids, agranulocytosis, that is a decrease in the WBCs, can all predispose to infections. So defects in phagocytosis. This will again form a major part of your answer. If you do answer this, you will be getting 20% additional marks. Gracias.